Well, good morning, everybody. It is 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thank you for joining us this morning from wherever you are at. We've got a group of registrations from, I think, all over the country today. So we appreciate the early risers that are up west of us here in St. Louis, and everybody that's in the Northeast. Thank you for grabbing a coffee and a bagel and joining us this morning to talk about an exciting product launch from Cambridge Engineering. We recently added 3 new lines, and I'm going to give you a brief overview on that this morning. My name is Doug Eisenhart, and I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for Cambridge Engineering. And we went after trying to orchestrate some new technologies over the last couple years, and met some fine people from the Spec Air organization down in Denison, Texas. And that's what got us started talking about evaporative cooling. We're excited to tell you about the reasons why we went after this line, and why we're so excited about these 2 new product platforms, really 3 new product platforms for Cambridge after 55, almost 56 years of being exclusively a heating and a ventilation company. So if you go to our website at www.cambridge-eng.com, you're going to see our tagline there, which is helping leaders create better working environments for hardworking people. We also have a hashtag up top about glory and dignity, and we are a family-owned U.S. manufacturing company, and we feel like it's our mission to try to bring glory and dignity back to U.S. manufacturing, as the manufacturing world has shrunk here in the United States, and over many decades, we are seeing a resurgence, and we're just as proud as we can be to be part of the resurgence in manufacturing, and doing it differently, doing it in a people-centric way that people can feel valued in their frontline jobs. So that's the tagline is reflective of our culture here, and it's tied to our why we exist statement. Cambridge exists to glorify God by enriching the life of every person we touch. Helping facility leaders improve their buildings is tied directly to why Cambridge exists. We manufacture HVAC technologies, but we do it for a higher purpose. So our owner and CEO, John Kramer, he's a second generation owner. He purchased the company from his father about, I think, 12 years ago. And his personal mission is to restore glory and dignity, as I said. He always says that if people that are working in the manufacturing world can go home better fathers, sons, sisters, mothers, and brothers, then we can strengthen our families at home, and we can strengthen communities, we can strengthen cities, and even our country. So manufacturing and manufacturing jobs are near and dear to his heart and all of ours here at Cambridge Engineering. There are some major investments that are being made in facilities across the country. Working in the warehousing or the manufacturing spaces, sometimes these environments are pretty tough physically and mentally. Tough physical conditions with both extreme temperatures on the cold and the hot side of the equation. And the type of working environments are, especially in warehousing and industrial spaces, are becoming more important as the world has gotten more competitive job-wise for great people. One of the major investments that Amazon has made is in cooling their facilities across the country, and it's driven, I think, a lot of change in the way people think about cooling in previously uncooled spaces. So while cooling has been emerging over the last 5 years, it's in full swing. Target reacted to that with the placement of air rotation cooling units in all of their distribution centers. And others, as they are designing new facilities, continue to look at ways to drop temperature for productivity, for attracting talent and retaining talent over time. So our entry into the cooling side of the HVAC market, specifically in the industrial market, has been it's great timing for us as this trend continues to grow. So there are many facility cooling options that are available, but each application may warrant different types of technologies in order to drive solutions and thermal comfort, temperature relief for people, from just general ventilation and exhaust fans all the way through mechanical cooling systems. There's a wide variety of options available for facility leaders, building owners, general contractors, and your firms to utilize to solve the customer's problem. We're going to try to talk a little bit about how we fit in, where we fit into this mix. Like I said up front, we purchased Spec Air, Aries, and Acer brands from Essick Air Company in Denison, Texas in May of last year. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of that acquisition, and they had been in business for over 40 years, working in predominantly the evaporative cooling markets with both direct and indirect and two-stage evaporative cooling technology platforms, and it was just a great fit for us. We met them as they were our supplier for our evap sections that we were adding to our M series 100% outside air direct fired ventilation units. So when we learned that they might be considering exiting that business, it was kind of a marriage made in heaven. Two great companies, two great cultures, and it was just a great fit for how it fit into not only our manufacturing process, but how it fit into our North American network, our sales network. So we're excited to expand the awareness of the semi-custom product line, the ESC line. We're excited to go out into the arid climates of the Southwest and have a more robust offering with our direct evaporative cooling. And we're really excited that this is such a great fit on both the direct, indirect, and two-stage side of things as it relates to our energy message. We've been an energy oriented company for many years, talking about the advantages of our unique heating platform as a difference maker for operational expenditures inside facilities. And these three technology platforms and evaporative cooling in general is consistent with our energy message. So it's a perfect fit for our why in enriching lives and strengthening working conditions, trying to make those environments better for people. It is a perfect alignment with our why statement. I talked about our leadership in energy. We've now got close to, I think, 37,000 installations. We work with over 4,900 contractors across North America, and we've got a rich heritage in building studies and energy savings validations through both third parties like the DOA, the DOE, as well as about 400 building studies, over 400 building studies that we've done over time. We'll continue to invest in building studies on the evaporative cooling side, and we'll be posting those on the website as well. if you're looking for some building study information, our website is rich with a number of different types of applications where we talk about energy. And we'll be complementing that with evaporative cooling stories as we navigate calculating electrical savings tied to both lines, the E and the ESC lines. So what I thought I'd do now is just talk quickly about some evaporative cooling trends in the market. It is a big market segment and growing. It's in 2017, according to a industry report we bought, which was called the Mordor report. Randy Nieder, who's also I think on the chat line, can I think we might have that up on our website, or portions of that up on our website through our evaporative cooling overview. We have a guide on the website that I think is available to everybody. And in that report, this $1.4 billion segment of evaporative cooling is growing at just shy of 4% per year. And it's made up of the direct evaporative segment, which is 52% of that market. And that's the largest portion of that market. And 48% of that business, the largest current market for the evaporative cooling is in the industrial segment, roughly $670 million. One of the things that we're really excited about in this acquisition and launch is that indirect evaporative cooling is really, I think, it's not really well known yet across many parts of the country. As we've been out talking to customers around the country, there seems to be great interest in indirect evaporative cooling because of maybe a false perception that evaporative cooling is only applicable in the arid climates of the Southwest. So indirect evaporative cooling provides temperature depression and heat relief inside facilities without adding to the humidity in the building, without adding moisture to the indoor air. So indirect is really getting a lot of attention as we've gone out early, since May of last year, as we've gone out into the marketplace and talked about projects in Chicago, in Nashville, in Michigan, in Ohio, and other places that are certainly not Phoenix or Tucson. So a lot of excitement out there. Our least complex to our most complex offering, I thought I might just start that way as a kind of a spectrum of products, and talk about kind of the first level of evaporative cooling that we're offering with our M series. We have been offering DX coils and chilled water coils for probably a decade with our M series in a custom mode. And we are standardizing now around some options with our M series. The M series direct evaporative capacities are going to be here for you in just a second. But when you're thinking about turning the ventilation air, that the makeup air that people are utilizing inside their facility, into a cooling technology platform, this is a great entry point for somebody looking to change the dynamics inside of a building. So these are our model numbers from an M110 up to an M140. Their corresponding CFM ranges from 1,800 CFM up to 75,000. And then DX capacities, chiller capacities, and evaporative capacities. And so everyone doesn't have to take notes on this. When we follow up from today, there will be a recording of this presentation. And I'm also going to ask that everybody that signed up for the webinar gets a PDF copy of this presentation, so you get these types of data sheets if you care to reference them later. Your representative partners also have them, and we can make these available to you directly if you desire to do that. So no need to take notes on this. I will make sure that everybody gets the content that we're sharing today. The base units have rooftop configurations and pad mount. You can see the discharge directions and corresponding selections that can be made. Our representative partners are locked into our design and quotation system and can help you with the design of a unit if this is the right fit from an application standpoint. Here are some additional cooling, M-Series with cooling options for filtration, motor types, drain kits, media types. We do offer two different types of media. They are Munters media, and we use the 12-inch cell deck and the 12-inch glass deck. And there are certainly specifications on those available if you're looking to make a selection in that arena. So the next product line is our E-Series, and this is a cooling only direct evaporative technology platform. The CFM ranges on our E-Series are from 10,000 to 80,000 CFM, and the capacities in tonnage are from 10 to 200 tons of cooling. These are available painted or unpainted, and again, like our M-Series, these can be either rooftop or pad mounted. These are environmentally friendly. There's no CFCs used, so as conversations heat up and that industry is going for, there was a lot of talk, I understand, recently at the spring conferences of ASHRAE and what's going to be happening with refrigerants. There continues to be pressure on refrigerants, and so this is a way to avoid all of that. It also is a major energy play, lowers energy usage. Call it 65 to 80% energy reductions compared to DX cooling. Just there's a fractional impact on operational expenditures as people are working with these. It is friendly for LEED accreditation, and there's just I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this, but direct evaporative cooling, again, in the right environment, is just a awesome way to not only increase the indoor air quality through the added moisture, but also to provide temperature relief at a fraction of the expenditure. The direct evaporative cooling systems have a saturation efficiency of almost up to 90%. The face velocities are up to 500 feet per minute. And again, here are the CFM ranges. This photo is a picture of the Munters media. This is the regular cell deck, and you can see the basin and the fill and pump system inside of a stainless cabinet. The way it works is through this flute design. It is I believe that Munters media is recognized as the leader in this industry. It is really a superior flute design. It requires less maintenance, and it is durable. So these systems with proper maintenance are long lasting. So in a direct evaporative performance chart here, I believe this is for either Phoenix or Tucson, and it's a direct evaporative cooling psychrometric chart. And this is basically just demonstrating with the temperature depression, the 33-degree temperature depression that is achievable with the direct EVAP, our E-Series product line. There's a 27-ton cooling effectiveness on this 10,000 CFM, and the cost to operate per hour is estimated here at $2.25. So as we get into more operational expenditures, we do have some tools that we've been working on in support of our representative partners, and we can go deeper into some cost analysis in support of contractors that are looking to talk about energy and talk about cost reductions compared to other systems that they may be competing with on a project. This is a one-page overview, again, of the E-Series model numbers from an E30 up to an E160. You can see the CFM ranges. You can see the configurations, discharge voltage, and then other available options and accessories that are available in that unit. And that is a second piece. So third in our launch is the Cambridge ESC series, and this is the product line that really, what I feel like, has gotten the most attention because it covers the broadest geographic reach in our network. And this is available as a ESC stands for Evaporative Semi-Custom, and it is for either direct, indirect, or two-stage evap cooling. It can be combined with DX and or chilled water, and we are doing hot water coils and indirect fired heating sections as well. CFM ranges from 10,000 to 58,000, and capacities from 10 to 160 tons. These units are absolutely beautiful. Shown here is a single-sided intake, and as you go up in size, we get into two-sided intakes, and they're just magnificently designed units. Spec Air did a phenomenal job on that, and we have been building those units here since we launched in May, and shipping units predominantly to Central California and the Arizona market. So we are excited about this product line. The indirect evap, as I said earlier, doesn't add any humidity to the airstream. No moisture is added, and so this kind of breaks all of the stereotypes of the swamp cooler. It is a great technology in markets that, like our own here in St. Louis. We're actually building a ESC for use in our factory to drive down temperatures. We get up typically, we can get up to over 100 degrees here. I think our design in St. Louis is just shy of that, but we're able to achieve a great temperature depression on that. So I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So the indirect, this is the two lower pictures are shots that I took with my iPhone, and because we didn't have a lot of imagery of this polymer heat exchange where we have water and air separated, and scavenger air taking the hot air out of this exchange. It's really this dual circuit design is really a phenomenal differentiator. There are other types of heat exchangers in the indirect world, and this one is beautiful for a couple reasons, but one of them is that it is flexible, and so it is self-cleaning. It does shed scale that other systems do not. So it provides some lower maintenance costs associated with and service issues related to heat exchangers. So phenomenal design. The picture is the section you can see on the right with the fill that's going up to the nozzles for spraying down onto the heat exchange. You can see the section the construction of that section that goes inside of a unit. This is the again the Phoenix or Tucson example on, I believe, 10,000 CFM. And you can see here that with an entering air temperature of 105 degrees, you can achieve a 66 degree leaving air temperature or a 39 degree temperature depression without adding any moisture. Excuse me. This is a two-stage performance. So the two-stage is actually where we would have indirect and direct evaporative cooling in the package. So you are getting a movement up in relative humidity with a two-stage. But the indirect, as I was talking about, is just a phenomenal way to look at markets where humidity is not an option. This is the overview of the ESC. Again, specifications and available options, configurations, and again, options on voltage and casing, whether it's single wall, double wall, galvanized, or stainless steel, painted or unpainted. We have options there. And then again, more from a selection perspective on things like piping, whether it's PVC or copper, and other options available. So I wanted to spend jump the gun a little bit on this, but the evaporative cooling, where does it make sense, and how are we approaching the use of both the E and the ESC as well as the M with direct evap from a regional perspective because of climate? And so the climate zones that ASHRAE defines based on cooling days and heating design days, we've basically broken them up into into the subcategories based on how moist is the environment, how dry is the environment, what are the marine environments. And so we've came up with a document basically that talks about inside of those ASHRAE inside of those ASHRAE markets that are that are basically in all of their climate zones from 1A to number 8 there. You can see based on a CFM, a 10,000 CFM product with an entering air temperature, dry bulb, wet bulb, you can see what we can get on direct evap, indirect evap, and two-stage, and then corresponding tons of cooling. So this just gives us an opportunity to look at markets that aren't typically considered aren't typically considered evap oriented markets. So I don't know who's on from where today, but in the case of let's just look at Baltimore, Maryland, with a entering air temperature of 91 in an indirect only application. They can achieve a leaving air temperature dry bulb of 76.1 and wet bulb of 70.2. And again, on design day, this would be a narrow sliver of the cooling days. So as we are engaging in a project and talking about effective cooling for thermal comfort, as people are saying, hey, I want to change the dynamics inside my building, while this is, while these temperatures, these leaving air temperatures are possible with evaporative cooling, the bin data can expand the performance or expand the value of the conversation beyond just peak design. We know we don't live in peak design for the full season, so the effectiveness of these technologies are expanded as we expand into a broader range of bin data, and we are going to be able to support our reps and our contractors seeking that data as well. So when to use each technology, some of our thoughts are the M series makeup air with direct evap cooling is an entry level point when ventilation with tempered cooling drives the conversation. If there are a large number of units, if people are retrofitting units, partial retrofit strategies are great strategies to do this. We have an industrial client here in the Midwest that has over 50 Cambridge Makeup Air units on it. And we, because of the years of service, we are now starting to replace equipment that's 25 to 35 years old. And these are opportunities for enhancing a Makeup Air application with a section. So that's an opportunity. The E-Series direct evaporative cooling technologies are, we feel like there's isolation there from a climate standpoint, but there's sure a wide cut of the marketplace from West Texas all the way up into parts of Colorado that evaporative cooling is very, very appropriate, very effective, and very cost efficient. The ESC is really wide open. It is a heavy industrial cooling technology. When there is a significant air load, process air load, the use of an ESC, whether it's direct, indirect, or two-stage, it's very appropriate. The semi-custom world tied to really unique process applications, there's a big opportunity for us to expand into that market and provide needed relief for environments that are really struggling with. I don't even know how to approach being able to afford DX cooling when I've got 200,000 CFM leaving the building that I've got to battle with my DX system. So whether this is complementing and reducing DX need or is the solution, our ESC offers a really, really wonderful platform to be in that conversation inside the heavy industrial market. So as we are talking about consulting facility leaders on design options, we really just want to offer our support through our network, our representative network. We have 65 firms that represent Cambridge and just shy of 700 sales associates across the country that we are spending time educating, providing resources to, content. But we also have a robust back of the house team that supports that network and can support you, our customer, with design support, load support, application support. We've got a technical sales support team. We've got applications engineering. We've got our regional managers, all of which are deployable into the field to help support someone that is starting a conversation about changing an environment inside somebody's facility. So if you would keep us in mind for that, we would love to help. And we have multiple layers of teams with technical proficiency available to support your cause. So we focus on really trying to discover what customers are trying to achieve. Why are they wanting to change? Is it about people productivity and retention? Are they having process efficiency and production challenges because of heat? And is there any cost if they do nothing? What is the alternative? We typically fight that first. If there's not a cost to do nothing, it's not likely the projects go forward. So the discovery of what customers are doing is certainly very important. In our own case here in St. Louis, as a manufacturer, we operate in about 100,000 square foot facility, and for us, the capital expenditure and the operational expenditure to cool our plant was always a barrier. not only how do I figure out what exactly I need from I've got all these systems with outbound air, but I've also got metal presses, and I've got fiber lasers, and I'm exhausting things. I've got a paint line. So I've got real process challenges that need to be diagnosed. How do I figure out what I need? These are the services. These are the value-added support resources that Cambridge can deliver through our rep network and alongside of our rep network to help people understand how do I figure out what to do. We have cooling experts inside here. We have many cooling experts that are sales engineers that are with our manufacturer rep network across the country. So we have a ton of application experience as it relates to cooling that is part of the Cambridge offering. The operational expenditure is really one of the greatest stories of the evaporative cooling technologies. And, being able to quantify that is really valuable. So our operational expenditure tool can help in that conversation to say we estimate costs compared to DX cooling and what we know through all of our studies and data sets through spec air. So facility leaders are thinking about risk. What's the risk to do nothing? What's the risk to my talent pool? If I'm in a production environment and I've got turnover that exceeds 10%, I've got challenges. So the environment is really important to those risks. And so we will continue to advocate that evaporative cooling, Cambridge ESC, and our makeup air with evaporative and/or other sections is a viable alternative to the DX mechanical cooling solutions that are out there. Especially when we have a high air load, when we can turn inbound air into a cooling solution for people. It's a great way to double down on an investment that's already being made. It's a really valuable way to invest in cooling without adding completely incremental systems. So reducing workforce risk and then this operational savings of 65 to 80%. It's really there's a lot of great things to talk about as you are considering evaporative cooling. So we are available to support you. Let your Cambridge rep know how we can support you and your customer with your customer if desired, or in design in advance of those customer meetings. Either way, we want to try to behave in a similar fashion to what we've done on the direct fired heating and 100% outside air technology platforms for years. Cambridge has built a reputation of support and design, and that continues with our launch of our 3 new product lines. So with that, I thank you for your time this morning. That's 38 minutes in, and I wanted to open it up for questions. Randy is going to try to help me out with any questions that are sitting out there. So Randy, if you would jump on and join me, that would be great.
Well, this time I don't see any questions, but I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. So please don't try to everybody talk at once. That way we can just field some questions.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. We will hit stop record on today's session. And for everybody that attended both on Monday and today, you're going to get a copy of this presentation via video. And then I will, the video recording of this webinar, and then you'll also get a PDF copy of the content that was contained herein.
All right,
thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. And Have a wonderful Friday and great weekend. Thank you, everybody.